because these phones are actually ultra rare, and I'm not joking. I had to import it from South Korea. Not only that, but only 10,000 units were made in South Korea with this phone, and this phone was never sold to the US or European market. And the phone in question is the Samsung Galaxy. What's up guys, Fexaster here, and as you guys know, today is literally the last day of this year. It's literally 31st of December 2025 as I'm recording this video today, and as I promised, I'm gonna do a phone collection video today. So let's get started with the most boring ones. Yay! And yeah, they are very dusty because I don't really clean them. I do before I start recording, but that's usually the state these phones are, and not because I'm neglecting them or something, but just because it takes time to clean all of this very daily, and my room is in general, it attracts lots of dust. I don't know why. But anyways guys, let's start with the first phone that we have in the collection. So here we have the LG G2. You guys know this phone because I almost bricked it recently, and I installed a custom ROM with Android 12 Lineage OS, and I did also explore it. You guys know this phone already, and yeah, it's basically my childhood phone because I used this phone as a kid. It was like my second childhood phone that I had. The first one was an iPhone 4 on white color, and this is like the second one, which is an Android, because the first one was an iPhone, which was, you know, iOS and stuff. So yeah, there you go, that's the second phone I ever had as a kid. And this is the next one, which is an LG G3 with this special epic case. As you guys can see, it's the European version. Just know guys, it's not really my childhood phone, but as a kid I really wanted this phone so bad, but I didn't have enough money to buy it and stuff, so I just bought it in 2024 for my collection. And yeah, that's the phone. It does work. I have no idea if it has any battery. It probably has, it probably hasn't, I really don't know. And yeah, unfortunately it has no battery, but this phone does work. It is in a working state. And now the next one that you guys most probably know if you guys are OGs, this is the HTC Wildfire. It's literally my first phone that I ever started this YouTube channel with, as in phone explorations and custom ramming. This was the first phone that I ever custom rammed, and it's also like the oldest Android phone that I actually own in my collection. This one also works. You guys probably know this phone, and yeah, it does have some juice in it. As you guys can see, it does turn on. It's on the stock ROM. It has a custom ROM on Android 4.0.4 before, but I decided to get it back to its stock ROM. So this one does work. It is in a working state, and it's my oldest phone in my collection, basically the oldest phone that I bought for my collection and stuff. And this is the next one, which is a HTC Wildfire S. If I'm not wrong, I think this is the next phone that I basically custom-rammed and explored on this channel. I'm pretty sure of that. And this one does probably work as well. I'm not really sure if I really charged these phones. And unfortunately this one is out of the battery and stuff. I mean, it's basically not charged. So yeah, this is the HTC Wildfire S. It is quite an interesting phone. And this is the next one, which is an LG Optimus L3. It's basically one of the phones that I custom rammed on my channel early on, before having a high subscribers if I'm not wrong. And this one is probably charged too, and I did got this phone to its stock ROM as well. It had a custom ROM before. I think it was some CyanogenMod custom ROM if I'm not wrong, and yeah, this one just turned on, as you guys can see. As I said, I got this phone back to its stock ROM, and it does work. It is in a fully functional state. And once again, it's a phone that I actually got from a flea market. This one and also this one, guys. I actually got these two ones from a flea market from my country. If I'm not wrong, I think this one was like 5 euros or something like that, and this one was 10 euros because I was stupid and I didn't know how to negotiate prices and stuff. But that's basically how much I paid, 10 euros for this thing, and for that one basically 5 euros. Now the next one that I have in my collection is the Motorola Moto E. You guys probably know this phone. It's literally the first generation of Motorola Moto, and this one I also custom rammed it on my channel before, and it's a phone that I also got from my flea market, I think for 5 or 7 euros, somewhere around there. And if I'm not wrong, I think it already has some battery. I'm not really sure. Unfortunately it doesn't. It was charged before, but the battery must died or something. So yeah, there you go. And here we have another phone that I actually got it from Greece, from Vendora, which is like a second-hand marketplace website thing for Greece. I got this phone for like 2 euros, and unfortunately it's missing a battery, but other than that this phone should work. And obviously it's not really gonna work because it has no battery, but I'm most probably gonna get a battery replacement in the future for this thing. And as you guys can see, I did take this one down because yeah, it's not really put together in the best way possible. But yeah, I'm really planning to get this phone. Maybe I'm gonna do a restoration video if you guys wanna see that in the future. I might as well just do a restoration video for this phone, but regardless, it's a phone that I got in 2024 if I'm not wrong, or 2025, I don't really remember that well. And here we have a BlackBerry Z30. This is a phone that I actually explored on my YouTube channel. As you guys know, I explored this one and I also tried to get some apps working, but you know, getting APKs on this phone is a pain in the ass. I have no idea if it still has any charge. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but oh, never mind, I pressed the wrong button. I think this is the one to turn it on, and it seems like this one does have some charge in it. Now the next phone that I have in my collection is a phone that I'm pretty sure I didn't show on my channel. I think it's the BlackBerry Classic. It's a BlackBerry Classic Q20 if I'm not wrong, and I have no idea if this phone has any charge in it. Apparently it does. I think it just flickered the red thing, and yeah, apparently this phone does still turn on. Yeah, it's basically a phone that I got from Greece for like 15 euros. It said that the battery sucked on this phone, but the battery does hold. I have no idea why that seller said that about the battery, but it does work, so I have nothing to really complain about this one. And this one still has any charge. I didn't charge this phone since I made a video with exploring it, so I'm quite surprised that it still works even now. I mean, it still works as it has juice in it and stuff. So there you go, that's a nice phone. And as I said, this is a BlackBerry Classic. I got it because, you know, it has a kind of modern operating system installed and it reminds me of the old BlackBerry phones basically, so that's why I bought this one. It was also very cheap, like 15 euros, and on eBay this thing costs 50 euros and above, so this one was really a steal. Now the next phones that are somewhat dumb phones because they don't really work that well with the internet and stuff is this one, which is a BlackBerry Bold. Now I forgot which model it was, but it's basically a BlackBerry Bold. I have no idea if it works because I forgot to charge it. Probably doesn't because I didn't charge this one in a very long time. But yeah, it's just a BlackBerry phone that I got from a flea market with 5 euros. I think this one was also 5 euros, I'm pretty sure. And the next phone that I have is an Allview. Now, funny story with this phone, I actually got it from someone for free because this phone does have some issues, and I'm gonna show you guys the issue in a moment. Okay, it's not really turning on, so you know what guys, I'm just gonna explain you the issue this phone has. It basically has a screen, like the screen is just cracked on this phone, but other than that it does work fine, but like half of the screen like that is basically cracked on the inside, so it's kinda hard to see the text and stuff because of that, but it is functional. If I'm gonna charge this phone it will work, so there you go. And now another phone that I do have in my collection is an old Nokia. I have no idea what this model is, but I know for a matter of fact that it's very old. I think it does have a battery, but I have no idea how to remove the back cover. But yeah, I have no idea if it works or not. I never tested it. Probably does, it probably doesn't. I don't know, I just got this one for free, so I don't really complain about it. And now the next other phones that I do have, I'm gonna show you guys in a bit, is this Huawei phone, which is very weird. I got this one from a flea market for like 3 or 4 bucks, you know, like 3-4 euros. But the thing with this one is that it has no battery. I really have to buy a battery for this thing, and not only that, but the screen is also cracked on the inside, so if I'm gonna buy a battery for this one, I'm also gonna have to buy a screen replacement, which is very hard to get for such phones. But there we go, and apparently this one is dead. It showed the no battery symbol for some reason. Yeah, that's a Huawei phone. I have no idea what model it is, but yeah, it kind of looks like a BlackBerry, which is kind of cool. And the funny thing guys, when I bought this phone, essentially I thought it was a Nokia, but when I got back home I realized it was a Huawei, which it's not really a bad thing because these Huawei phones are quite rare if I'm not wrong, and also very obsolete too. But anyways, moving on guys, I'm gonna put this BlackBerry phone back here too because I forgot to do that. And here we have a Motorola Razr V3 on black. Basically this phone does work, it's like in a fully working condition and stuff. The only issue with this one is that I don't have a charger for it. It does have a battery, so if I charge it it's gonna work, but I have no charger to charge this phone with. So yeah, unfortunately this phone is dead for me for now, but if I'm gonna buy a charger for this one in the future, it is gonna work. Here we have a Nokia phone. Once again, I forgot what model this was, but I basically got this one from a flea market as well for just 5 euros. Once again, very cheap. I have no idea if this phone still has any battery. I guess I'm just gonna try to turn it on now. And unfortunately, it's dead. I do have a charger for it, so once again, I don't really mind that it has no charge because I can charge it anytime. And I do like this phone because it's a flip phone. That's quite satisfying, and I do like this phone's mechanism and stuff. And now we are done with this box of phones. I'm gonna get to the next ones in a moment. Well, here is the... oh, I almost slammed my phone. Anyways, here is the next box of phones. As you guys can see, there are also lots of phones in here as well. And one of the phones from here is actually a phone that my grandma used to have, which is a Nokia Asha 305 if I'm not wrong. And I actually had to buy a screen replacement for this one, actually just a digitizer replacement, but unfortunately this one is also crappy, but at least it does work better than the previous one. And yeah, I also used to have this phone as a kid, like my grandma would use it, but she would also allow me to use it and stuff. And this one was quite a fun phone, like it was a Nokia, it also had a touchscreen. And yeah, I forgot to remove the plastic film on the screen because I do want the screen to be somewhat protected, I mean the digitizer. But yeah, that was a quite awesome phone. And here is the LG D160. As you guys know, I explored this phone. Unfortunately, it's not custom ROMable, but this one is also cool. I bought it first from Vendora. I realized that it was hard bricked, then I bought another one which was also hard bricked on eBay, and then I bought another one from eBay which this time it was functional, and this is the phone in question that is functional. So I had to buy 3 of these phones to get the functional one for some reason. But yeah, this phone does work. I think I can also turn it on. There we go, it does have some juice in it. That's the LG D160. Now let's get to the next phone, which here we have a Nokia phone. I really forgot which model this one was. It is a Nokia phone that I own. It's a dumb phone obviously, and the thing with this one is that it doesn't have any charge in it. However, if I'm gonna try to charge it, it's gonna work. Oh, never mind, it does still work. I forgot that. I guess this phone still has, you know, battery. I'm quite surprised. Oh, never mind, battery low. Apparently this phone doesn't have any. And yeah, this phone is actually working, so there you go, let's move on. Now the next phone that I do have in my collection is this Samsung one, which is somewhat a flip phone. It's like a sliding phone actually. And unfortunately this one has no battery because the old battery got bloated, it got like spicy pillowed, and I had to remove it. But other than that, this phone should be functional if I'm gonna get another battery and also a charger for it, because if I'm not wrong, this phone takes a custom charging thing or something like that. But yeah guys, this phone is also quite nice. I forgot the model of this phone, but yeah, this one is for free because one of my family members used to have it. And here we have the Nokia phone. I think it's the 625. And as you guys know, I actually reviewed this one on my channel, and not only that, but I also jailbreaked it and I got some apps on it and I had to root it and lots of stuff. I also got Windows 10 Mobile on this phone. It was quite fun, and thanks to this phone I did got some thousands of views, so W Nokia phone. And this one I also got it from a flea market for just 5 or 10 bucks if I'm not wrong, somewhere around there, which was quite nice. Now guys, the next one from my collection is this Allview Viper V2, which I basically got for like 5 bucks or something like that, but then I had to buy another phone just for the spare parts to make this one functional. And this phone was originally white, but I had to make a color conversion because I switched out motherboards and stuff like that to make this one working. And yeah, I think this one also has some battery in it if I'm not wrong. I think I'm gonna try to turn it on, and unfortunately it's dead, but it's not a big deal. It can actually charge via USB-C, which is quite interesting. You guys kept asking me if I have a HTC One M8. The answer is that I do. I actually have a HTC One M8, but the reason why I didn't show this phone on my channel yet is because it's completely the volume buttons are missing, and the screen is also cracked, and you know, the cameras are spazzing out, and this phone is in a very rough condition as you guys can see. So that's pretty much the reason why I never reviewed it. But if I'm gonna try to turn this phone on, it's actually gonna work. I mean, this phone does work. As you guys can see, the phone does turn on. I know I could review it on my channel, but because it's in a very shit condition, that's basically the reason why I didn't want to review it, basically explore it. Hopefully very soon when I'm gonna refurbish this phone, I'm actually gonna try to review it too, just like Channel Ramble did. Anyways, moving on. And guys, here we have the PlayStation phone. You guys probably know this phone from my channel. It's the Sony C4 phone, and I think this one still works. I mean, it should probably still turn on. There you go. And I got this phone from Greece for like 20 euros. The thing with this phone is that I bought it with a screen. It basically had a broken digitizer, like some areas on the screen you couldn't like touch and stuff, and some other areas you could, like on the top you could, but down here you couldn't. And when I replaced the screen, I also picked up the loudspeakers. So right now there was supposed to be like a startup sound, and unfortunately there is none of that because I broke the phone. But yeah guys, there you go, does work and stuff, but it's not working that well. And also I also broke the button here for, you know, the camera app and stuff, but regardless guys, this phone does still work, and that's all I care about. I'm gonna fix the loudspeaker sometime in the future, but at least it does turn on and stuff. Here we have the Sony Xperia J. You guys probably know this phone as well. I actually custom ROM'd it, I actually explored it on this channel, and unfortunately I couldn't find any custom ROMs for Android 4 and above. Unfortunately, I only found the ones that it's basically on the same Android version as on the stock, but at least I did manage to custom ROM it and stuff, and this one probably has some battery in it too. Yeah, there you go guys, it's like working, this one also works. And now moving on to the other phones. Also I forgot to mention that I bought this one for like $5 from the flea market. Once again, flea markets are awesome because they are cheap, but in the same time they do suck when you live far away from them, which is basically my case. And now guys, the next phone that I have in my collection is this Samsung one, which I think it's a Samsung Galaxy A or M model. I really can't use this phone. I mean I tried turning it on and stuff, but the screen or the battery is because I tried charging it and I can't really access the phone at all. So maybe I'm gonna fix this one in the future on a video or something, but yeah, this phone is unfortunately sad. And the next one that I do have, and I showed you guys on this channel, is the HTC Uplay. Now funny thing about this phone, I actually got this one from a flea market as well. It was like $5 or $7 basically. You know, this phone had a battery issue. The battery was basically on this phone and I had to buy a replacement one, and right now it works just fine. I think it should have juice in it. If I'm gonna try to turn it on, it should probably power on. There we go, it vibrated and we should see the HTC logo. There we go, so this phone does work, but yeah, it wasn't working when I bought it, but I refurbished it and now it works just fine. And now guys, the next phone that I do have is this HTC Desire 828. Now this phone I also got from a flea market for like $5 or $3, somewhere around there, and the phone does work completely just fine. Unfortunately I couldn't find any custom ROMs for this one. I would try to custom ROM it, but there is none of that available. And yeah, the phone works, however the screen is heavily cracked. You guys can probably see that. I did explore this phone on my channel, so you guys probably remember this one too. And yeah, it works completely fine, the touch screen works fine, but it's just cracked. Now moving on, the next one that I do have in my collection is this one, which is basically a carbon something, I forgot the model of this phone. The thing with this phone is that it has a cracked screen on the inside, and it also has a missing battery, and finding batteries for this one is very hard. It's also the same situation with the screen, unless I buy the same phone that works, but yeah, that will be pointless to do if I want to refurbish the thing. So unfortunately this phone will remain dead, but you know, at least I have it in stuff in my collection. So I bought it for like $2 on a flea market. I forgot to mention that. Anyways, moving on. Here we have an Alcatel One Touch. Now the thing with this phone is that I also bought it for very cheap, for like $1 or $2 from Vendora. Once again, the thing with this phone is that it has a cracked screen on the inside, so this one is also miserable. The keyboard is also because when I was mad I decided to hammer it for some reason, and overall this phone is not happy at all. I did buy a battery replacement for this thing, but I bought it for no reason because it's... Here we have a copycat of Nokia 3310. Yeah, it's basically a copy of, you know, that phone. My parents bought this phone for themselves and they didn't realize it was a fake copy of Nokia 3310 new, but they still went along with that and they bought the phone. And yeah, it's just as crappy as it sounds, but yeah, I do still have it in my collection. Well, that's all the phones from this box basically. Now let's get to the other ones. And here we have the box of Samsung phones, and yeah, I do have quite a lot of them. So the first Samsung phone that I have in here is the Samsung Galaxy S1 GT i9000. This is basically the phone that I explored on my channel recently. I also breaked it, and now everything that basically runs on this phone keeps crashing each time I turn it on. But yeah, other than that, this phone is actually quite nice. It's literally the first Samsung Galaxy S that ever launched, which is quite cool to know. And you know, this one does turn on if I'm gonna try to turn it on. it does turn on. I also tried downgrading it to Android Froyo, which is Android 2.2.1, but unfortunately that didn't fix this phone either, and it just keeps spazzing out. So yeah, unfortunately this phone just has bad AMC or something like that, but yeah, other than that it is quite a cool phone in my opinion. Here we have the Samsung Galaxy S2, and this phone I did manage to customize it with success. You guys probably know that we got Android 13 on this thing basically, and now I just got the phone back to stock ROM. But as you guys can see, it does turn on, it does work. It should turn on now. There we go. From Vinted. You guys probably know this website. Probably some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. But I bought it from there for like 20 bucks. Now I know it is quite a price for this phone, but I couldn't find anything cheaper than that, so unfortunately I had to pay that price. Even though I didn't want it to do that, I did have to do that. And as you guys can see, the phone just works fine. I had to reflash the stock ROM by using Odin, but other than that, the phone works fine. So now let's move on. Now the next phone that I have in my collection is the Samsung Galaxy S3. And as you guys can see, it doesn't have its original screen because of that Samsung logo thing covered in there. But basically, this phone I bought it with a cracked screen from Greece, from Vendora once again. And this phone I bought it for like 15 bucks or 20 bucks if I'm not wrong. It had a cracked screen, the touch will still work, but it was cracked. I basically just had to buy a new screen, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like basically this screen is just like an LCD instead of OLED, but you know, it does work. But as you guys can see, this phone does work, it turns on, so there you go. And now the next phone that I do have in my collection and I bought from a flea market is the Samsung Galaxy S4. This phone I really wanted it as a kid, same as with the Samsung Galaxy S3. I literally remember watching so many reviews of these phones and stuff just because I really wanted them so bad in real life. And yeah, I bought this one from a flea market for just 5 bucks. Or 10 bucks if I'm not wrong. I don't really remember the price anymore. Basically it just has a cracked screen and it had a bad vibrator. It still has one, but other than that the phone works fine. I have no idea if it has any juice in it, but if it does, you know, the phone works fine. And if you guys are wondering, whenever I'm gonna explore these phones and the other ones I showed you guys, I'm gonna actually custom RAM them, so don't worry, I will actually custom RAM them when it's gonna be their turn. And yeah, as you guys can see, the Samsung Galaxy S3 does work fine. This one does also work fine, but it doesn't have any battery unfortunately. And here we have the Samsung Galaxy S5. Now funny story, this phone had a great screen until I cracked it by accident because I'm a very dumb. And yeah, the screen is from AliExpress, so I guess the quality was to be expected to crack it just like that. But regardless guys, this is a Samsung Galaxy S5. I bought it from a flea market for just 10 bucks. And the phone had a very fucked up screen. It also had a missing battery, missing back cover if I'm not wrong. And overall this phone was very miserable, but I restored it. And even if I'm gonna turn it on now, as you guys can see, it does boot up, it does work. So hopefully in a future video I'm gonna custom ROM it and explore it with you guys. But yeah, the phone does work. And here we have a Samsung Galaxy S6 with mismatching colors. Yay! We have gold and also blue. That is fun, am I right? And I have no idea if the phone will turn on. I have no idea if I charged it recently. And there we go, it does turn on. And here, well, this thing just happened because I wanted to remove the mid frame because I tried to tear this phone down and I kinda went very bad with the spudger in there. But you know guys, the digitizer still works, so I don't really care about that. But yeah, this phone does work. I did got this one from a flea market for like 15 or 20 bucks if I'm not wrong. And here we have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, one of my favorite phones from my collection. I actually restored it from like a very broken Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. It basically had both the front screen and also the back cover. They were very broken. It had a missing battery, the one didn't work. Yeah, I actually fully restored this phone / refurbished, and you know, it works just fine. I have no idea if it has any charge, if it's even gonna turn on, but there you go guys. The phone does work. This button will not light up because for some reason it's not working, but the button does work. It's just the LED that doesn't work on it. You guys will see in a moment. I also needed to replace both the front camera and the back camera. I had to replace both of them because yeah, those were broken as well. So I basically fully refurbished this phone and I'm very proud of that. And there we go guys, the phone just works fine. I'm gonna unlock it, so I'm gonna show you guys that it works. Yeah, not only I'm collecting phones, but I'm also fixing them if they are broken. And I know it has screen burning, but as soon as it works I really don't mind that. This one does work. I'm very proud of that. Here we have the Samsung Galaxy A10. Now I got this phone for free from someone. I'm not gonna leak their identity obviously, but I got it for free and it does work. I have no idea if it's charged or not, but there you go guys, it does work. It is huge e-waste, but hey, I got it for free, so I'm not gonna complain. Now moving on, here we have the Samsung Galaxy Core. You guys probably already know this phone from my videos and stuff. I basically custom ROM'd it, I explored it and stuff like that. Now it's on the stock ROM if I'm not wrong. I have no idea if it has any battery in it, but regardless guys, I got this phone back to the stock ROM, so yeah, there you go. And yeah, this one is actually a phone that I got from basically a second-hand marketplace. I think it was Vendora. Once again, I got it from Greece because I used to live in Greece, now I live in Romania. This phone was like 10-15 euros when I got it, and it basically had a broken charging port, and yeah, that was it. I also had to get a battery for this one, and yeah, that was all it took to fix it. Now this one, as I said, I got it free from a neighbor from here. Now I'm just gonna turn off the phone because I'm not really gonna use it. I just wanted to show you guys the phone. And here is the first phone that I ever restored in my life, the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. This one is also heavy modified because we have a silver back cover, and here we have like a gold on screen and also a gray button once again. Yeah, this phone is a bit weird, but it does work. I mean, you guys probably know this already because I actually custom ROM'd the phone and explored it on this channel. As you guys can see, it works just fine, no issues at all. I got this phone for like 20 bucks from Vendora, and I basically got it with a broken screen. I just replaced the screen and that was it. But then later on, I cracked that screen and I had to buy another screen replacement, but after doing that as well, I finally managed to do it properly, and now the phone just works fine. So there you go. Now moving on with the phones from my collection, here is a Samsung Galaxy Core Prime LTE, but it's literally just a demo phone. Like, you know, the button is clicking and stuff, but as you guys can see, it's pretty much just a fake phone. And I bought it because these demo phones and stuff, they are very rare because they used to be phones displayed in stores and stuff just as a demo, so I just wanted to get this one for the lols and for my collection. The next phone that I do have, it is the Samsung Galaxy J something. I forgot the model. As you guys can see, the screen is cracked on the inside, the battery probably doesn't work on this phone, so yeah, unfortunately I can't do anything about it for now, but hey, I got this phone for free from someone once again, so once again, I'm not gonna complain about it. Now moving on, here we have the Samsung Galaxy Young. You guys probably know this phone, we got Android 5 on it. I also explored it and, you know, showed you guys the phone and stuff. I once again got it back to the stock ROM. It should probably boot up if it has any battery in it. I have no idea if it does. Yeah, it's not charged unfortunately, but yeah, you guys probably know this phone. And yeah, this phone, I did got it for like 5 bucks from a flea market, so once again, that is a nice price for such a phone. And here we have the Samsung Galaxy Trend. You guys probably know this phone as well. I once again custom ROM'd it and, you know, explored it and stuff on this channel. So yeah, you guys probably know this phone. You also probably know this phone from the rage quit I had when I removed the flap and stuff. That was quite funny. And there we go guys, this one does boot up as well. So now let's get to the next phone, which is the Samsung Galaxy S Duos, aka the brother of the Samsung Galaxy Trend. Both are literally the same thing if you are not that careful to look at both of them, but this phone are basically brothers and stuff. So yeah, this one I did got for free because this was one of my childhood phones that I used to have, so that was quite nice. This one I got from a flea market, once again for just 5 bucks, which once again it is cheap price for these phones in my opinion. Now moving on, this is quite a cool phone that I have and it's also a bit rare. This is the Samsung M80 Pixel. This phone, the reason why I got it is because of this camera. I genuinely got this phone for this camera because it looks like a digital camera, which is quite fun in my opinion. And this phone does work. I remember charging it, so it's hopefully gonna turn on. There we go. I got this phone from eBay for like 15-20 bucks, something like that. And yeah, it does work. It is locked on orange, but I don't really care about that. This is the only reason I got it, just for this camera. And yeah, it is quite fun. I got it in 2024 if I'm not wrong. Now moving on guys, here we have an even more rare phone which we are not gonna explore today, but I'm still gonna show you guys the phone, and I'm also not gonna turn it on because I don't wanna spoil you guys the phone. But this is one of the rarest phones that I ever got as well, the Samsung Galaxy Hennessy. I paid 60 bucks for this phone from eBay. I got it from a Chinese seller, and basically it has 2 screens and it's a flip phone with Android and stuff. It has a screen here with buttons and stuff, and it also has a screen here as well with more buttons and stuff. These ones are they're also physical. And overall, I really like this phone. It's literally an Android. It does work, but I don't want to turn it on because I want you guys to see this phone in a future phone exploration video, so I'm not really gonna show you guys how it works and stuff. We have the Samsung Galaxy S cover. You guys once again know this phone from when we tried to custom ROM it and also explore it, and the custom ROM on this phone was quite a fail, but you know, this phone also gave me like lots of views and stuff, so thank you guys so much for watching the video with this goofy ass phone. But I mean, it is quite a cool phone, and I literally bought it for just €2 because I got it with a bloated battery, and overall it wasn't in a rough shape. But in the future I'm gonna get a battery for this thing, so I'm not gonna have to switch batteries for multiple phones and stuff. And that's pretty much all the phones from this box here of Samsung phones collection stuff. And now I guess it's time to move on to the other box of phones that I have. And here guys, we have the box of iPhones. This is gonna be such a fun video. So first things first, here we have an iPod. You guys probably know this iPod. It's literally the iPod Nano 7th Gen, and I have no idea if it has any battery left. You guys probably know this iPod from when we actually explored it and stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't jailbreak it because I didn't find any jailbreaks for this one, but you guys probably know that this one works just fine. It unfortunately has some lines on the screen, as you guys can see, but other than that it works completely fine, and I got it for free because my dad bought this iPod for me back a few years ago, so there you go. Now moving on, here is an iPod that I got from a flea market for just $10, and it's not a bad deal at all because it does work, but unfortunately it ran off the battery. You guys probably know I reviewed this iPod, but it's basically the iPod Nano 2nd Gen, and as I said, I got it from a flea market for just $10. Now moving on, here we have the iPhone 3G, and you know, I reviewed this phone on my channel, and I also tried to make the App Store and basically the YouTube thing work, and unfortunately I couldn't manage to do that, and I failed quite bad. And as you guys know, this iPhone works just fine, just like the rest of the phones that I have. And now moving on, oh, I forgot to mention that I bought this phone from eBay for just $5 or $10 by the way, which is quite a nice deal. And here we have the iPhone 3GS, and once again this phone probably works too, but I think it doesn't have any battery because I forgot to charge it. But yeah, this one does work fine if I'm gonna charge it. And I also got this one from UK from eBay for just $10 or $15 too, so there you go. Now moving on, this is the iPhone 4 that I used to have as a kid, basically one of my first smartphones that I ever had, and this one probably has some charge left in it as well. There we go. And yeah, it's a free phone that I got because my parents got it for me from when I was a kid and stuff. As I said, it was my first ever smartphone that I owned, and yeah, I also remember that I broke the NAND and I had to swap motherboards and stuff to make this phone work once again. I tried to jailbreak it on the old motherboard, and I'm assuming it was like iCloud locked because when the phone restarted it didn't boot it up anymore and the NAND got fried. So yeah, that's quite miserable. And also this one just turned on. I guess I'm gonna shut it off. I do enjoy owning these iPhones because you know, it's just a time machine. It is quite fun to have these phones in your collection and stuff. Here we have an iPhone 4S that I got for just $10 from eBay, which is once again a very good deal in my opinion. And this one does work too. If it doesn't, then it's not charged, but as you guys can see, it does seem to turn on. It's on iOS 9, this one on iOS 7. Maybe I'm gonna try to downgrade them in a future video, I'm not really sure. But overall, these phones do work, and I'm very happy for that. Now moving on, here is an iPhone 5, which I have no idea if it's charged or not, but it does have a busted screen. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to buy a new screen in the future. Once again, my amazing dog is barking for no reason. Yeah, I do have an iPhone 5. I got this one from eBay basically for just $12 or $13 or something like that. A very cheap price in my opinion. Here we have an iPhone 5S, which I quite paid the price for this one, but as you guys can see, it has no scratches, so I guess the price was worth it. I paid $30 or $32 on eBay for this phone, but once again I bought it back in 2024 and it's also in a very good condition. I have no idea if it has any charge. It does seem to have a charge in it, so there we go to the next phone, which the next phone is basically an iPhone 5C. I also got this one from eBay for just $10 or $12, and this one does also work. Now it might be discharged, but it doesn't seem to be. As you guys can see, it does turn on. And yeah, I know this is one of the worst iPhones ever made because you know, not many people bought them, and it's also not the best quality with the plastic back, and you know, it just looks like childish and stuff. But in my opinion, it is still an interesting device to own in my opinion. even though it doesn't look like it. I think it's still interesting to have such a. And yeah, now moving on, here we have the iPhone 6. Now this phone, I bought it from Vendora for just 50 bucks. I know it is quite a huge price, but I bought it 1 year ago, and this phone does work fine as well. I think it has 85% battery health if I'm not wrong. Here we have the iPhone 6s. Now I bought this phone from eBay for just 15 bucks or 20 bucks, which is very cheap comparing to 50 bucks on Vendora and stuff. And as you guys can see, it is the white version / silver, and yeah, it does have 70% battery health, but hey, it does work, it does turn on, so I don't really care that much about that issue. And now moving on with the iPhones and stuff, here we have the iPhone 7, the first iPhone that actually came with a capacitive home button, and this one does work as well. I think, I have no idea if it's charged or not. Yo, okay, it does seem to turn on, so there you go. I'm just gonna leave it there, and this one did turn on as well. I'm gonna put my passcode in. As you guys can see, this one does work fine as well, so I'm not really complaining about these phones. They work fine, they still have charge despite not charging them for a month or something like that, so really not complaining about these phones. And here we have the iPhone 7, and as you guys can see, this one does work fine. I also got WhatsApp on it, so I really tried to use this phone back a few months ago or something. I got this phone for like 60 euros if I'm not wrong. I think that's how much it costed when I got it from Vendora. I think I got this phone from Vendora. It was like 60 or 65 euros basically. And once again, it works just fine. Now I'm gonna turn it off because I'm not really gonna try to use it too much, but it does work fine. We have the iPhone 8, basically the last phone from this box. Basically, it's an iPhone 8. I have no idea if it has any charge because this one does have a shitty battery, and unfortunately it's not turning on. But regardless, guys, this is the iPhone 8. I bought it from eBay for like 100 euros or something like that, or 100 pounds. And yeah, unfortunately it has no charge and the battery does discharge a lot. Now I have a very funny story with this phone. I actually got it from eBay, and then my dad shipped it to me in Greece, and when it arrived in Greece I had to pay another 70 euros just to pick it from the postal, dude. Just to pick it from the post office I had to pay 70 euros, which is very outrageous in my opinion. But regardless, guys, that's all the phones that I have in here. Now let's move on. Also, guys, one more phone that I want to show you guys is this iPhone 2G, and unfortunately it's not in the best shape possible because it's missing this black cover in here. It is quite scratched on the back, but just know, guys, this phone actually used to have this cover. It also used to work as well, but unfortunately the battery got bloated and I had to remove it manually by desoldering the wires and stuff that was on the battery terminals on the motherboard. And hopefully soon in the future I'm gonna get a battery for this thing, so can basically, you know, just explore this phone and maybe jailbreak it and downgrade the iOS and stuff. Maybe, hopefully I'm gonna do that in the future. But yeah, the phone doesn't really work because it has no battery installed. Hopefully in the future I'm actually gonna get one and do all of the things that I mentioned before. Now some other devices that I do have but I don't really use, the Samsung Galaxy Megaphone, which it used to be my dad's phone, but unfortunately it broke as the NAND is probably fried on this phone, and you know, it doesn't really charge that well. Maybe it needs a battery replacement, I don't know. Regardless, guys, when my dad bought this phone it costed like 40 bucks or something like that back 8-9 years old. I don't really remember that well, but regardless, this phone did cost it a bit, and yeah, it's pretty much dead now. And I know this is not a phone, but here is an iPad 2 which I basically got from a flea market for just 10 bucks, and I had to pay some more money to get a motherboard that does work on this phone. I bought it from AliExpress, the motherboard for like 20 bucks if I'm not wrong, and now the iPad works just fine. I can also turn it on to show you guys that it works. However, I'm not really gonna explore it in this video, but as you guys can see, the iPad does work, so let's move on. Well, here is a smaller box with phones, and here we have quite interesting phones to show you guys, so yeah, let's go through them in just a bit. So the first one that I have in this collection is the Samsung Galaxy S8. As you guys can see, it does have a fake screen. It's basically an LCD screen with digitizer and stuff, and the phone does work. I mean, it should have any charge in it if I'm not wrong. There we go, it does turn on, and as you guys can see, the screen is quite crappy because it's not that one OLED. It's actually the worst LCD screen I could ever get for like 40 bucks. And also, guys, I forgot to mention that I got this phone 10 bucks box. I think I got it from OLX, which is a second-hand marketplace website here in Romania where I live, and I basically paid 10 bucks for this phone. Yeah, as you guys can see, I did got some apps in it. The phone does work fine, it just has a very shitty screen. That's pretty much it with this phone. In this case, it's basically the Samsung Galaxy S9. Now this phone, it also has a LCD screen, and it might actually not boot up because I tried to custom ROM this one off camera before making this channel. I actually tried to custom ROM it, and yeah, it's probably not gonna work. And yeah, it does have TWRP installed. However, when I tried to custom ROM this phone, I had zero experience in custom ROMing, so yeah, it is kind of bricked for now. Regardless, guys, I paid for this phone like 15 bucks. Once again from OLX I bought it. It had once again a broken screen, and I replaced it with a LCD, which also costed 40 bucks. So this phone in total is like 55 or 60 bucks pretty much. Now moving on with the phones, guys, here is an iPhone 10 that I did got in my collection. I actually used to have this phone as a secondary phone. I have no idea if it's charged anymore because I didn't charge this phone in quite some time, and it does seem to turn on, so I guess that's a good sign. The screen is fake, by the way, it's not really the original screen, and unfortunately the Face ID and the other thing, I forgot how it was called. There used to be like a setting with it, I forgot what that feature is called, but basically it doesn't have that feature anymore. It also has no Face ID, so yeah, the phone does work fine. Oh, someone's calling me, god damn it. Anyways, the phone does work fine, and I also have this special 10th anniversary from iPhone 2G case, as you guys can see. But regardless, guys, I'm gonna turn off the phone. But yeah, it does work. This one actually used to be basically my secondary phone, this iPhone 10. Quite a nice phone in my opinion, but I don't really use it anymore. This is my Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus that I got for free from someone, and the reason why I got it for free from someone is because the screen is busted. As you guys can see, it has a million of lines on the screen. It is not physically cracked though, like I don't see any cracks on the screen is actually intact. However, it is cracked on the inside. It's the original OLED screen, as you guys can see. It works just fine. Besides those lines on the screen, it really works fine, like the touch has no issues and stuff. Cameras also work completely fine, and overall this phone is not bad at all. We also have like a black spot in here. The screen really works fine. The touch works just fine, like no issues at all. So yeah, let's move on. And once again, I keep forgetting to mention how much I paid for these phones. This one costed 100 bucks, and I got it from OLX, basically from someone. The reason why it was just 100 bucks was because the camera lens was cracked and I had to basically replace it, and that was pretty much the only issue this phone had. Yeah, now moving on. Well, I did forget to show you guys one of the phones that I currently have a secondary phone, the iPhone 11 Pro. I actually forgot to show you guys this phone, but yeah, it's basically my secondary phone. It works just fine, and when I'm not using my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I'm using this one instead. Hopefully in the future I'm gonna get a 12 Pro as well. This is the phone that my mom used to have. I also used to own it, but I don't own it anymore. And the phone is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. Now the thing with this phone is that this phone used to be mine first, but then when I switched to the Z Flip 5, I basically gave it to my mom to use. And you know, the problem with this phone is that it can't bend, because if it bends, then the main screen will start freaking out and it's gonna work like shit. Other than that, guys, the phone does turn on. If I'm gonna try to turn it on, it should work just fine. As you guys can see, the phone works, also the second display works just fine. But yeah, it's just that the phone freaks out each time I'm trying to bend it, so I'm not really bending this phone anymore. And here is the box with my rarest phones that I actually ever own. So let's start with the first one, which is the Sharp AQS Crystal. You guys probably know this phone from the video where we basically explored it. Unfortunately, it can't be custom ROMmed because no one really made custom ROMs for this phone. But it is quite a cool phone that I own, and I really like it because of the crystal looking screen and stuff, and it also has no bezels, like here and here and here it has no bezels, just on the bottom where is the camera and some sensors and stuff, and also the watermark of the phone. But other than that, it has no bezels. It is quite an interesting phone for the 2014 era basically. And now the other phones that I do have in my collection is the Samsung Galaxy Note Edge, the Japan version. It's basically the SC01G model. Once again, there is no custom ROM for this phone. I did explore it on my channel. You guys probably know this phone. It does work. I can actually turn it on. So I was going to say that I actually bought this phone from Buy Japan, and it basically costed like 20 bucks. I'm not joking. The phone was 20 bucks, but then I had to pay for shipping like 15 or 20 bucks as well. So this phone in total just costed 40 bucks. And I also had to pay at customs at the post office another 10 bucks just to pick the fucking phone. Like, come on, why are things so expensive nowadays to import? And this phone, I also got it from Buy Japan. This one was like 25 or 30 bucks, something like that. And for this one, I also had to pay the shipping another 20 bucks, and then the custom stuff I also had to pay like 15 bucks for that as well, so that was quite a pain in the ass. But regardless, I still got these phones pretty cheap than how much it costs on eBay, that's for sure. Now the next rare phone that I actually have, and I'm not gonna show you guys how it works and stuff, because this is gonna be for a future video. This is the LG G Flex. It's one of the LG phones that is actually bending like a banana, as you guys can see. It is quite an interesting phone. Is also one of the phones that can self-heal and stuff, and yeah, it is quite a cool phone. Once again, I'm not gonna turn it on because I don't want to spoil how the phone works and stuff, but it is quite fun when you do this with the phone on the table. It is quite funny, and the phone fully works. It has no issues at all. I actually bought this phone from Global Bonyang, which is a website, and you can buy stuff from South Korea from there. Now this phone costed like 15 or 20 bucks to buy. I basically had to pay like 40 bucks for shipping, and then 20 bucks for the customs import stuff that I had to pay when the phone arrived in my country. But other than that, yeah, this phone, it did costed some money. Like, the phone itself was cheap, but you know, importing it from South Korea did cost a bit, and it was a pain in the ass in my opinion. And now moving on, guys, here we have the Samsung Galaxy Note Fan Edition. Now you guys know this phone already, it does turn on, and my story with this phone, if you guys are wondering, I got this phone from eBay for just 120 bucks, but then I had to pay another 100 bucks to buy a screen replacement because this phone arrived with a cracked screen, missing battery, missing back cover, and I had to buy all those parts, which in total costed like 150 bucks. So this phone is very close to 300 bucks in repairs and stuff, but as you guys can see, the phone works just fine. It does have screen burning because I didn't want it to buy a perfect screen for this one, but regardless, guys, the phone works fine, the touch works fine, so I'm not really complaining. I do like this phone a lot, in my opinion. Here comes the most interesting part of this video. My rarest phones that I ever got in my life, and the phones that Channel Ramble will probably never be able to buy. Not because I'm jealous on him or something, I'm definitely not jealous, but because these phones are actually ultra rare, and I'm not joking. The phone that I'm gonna show right now is a phone that was very cheap to buy, but in the same time it's very rare to buy. I had to import it from South Korea. Not only that, but only 10,000 units were made in South Korea with this phone, and this phone was never sold to the US or European market, so this phone is extremely rare. And the phone in question is the Samsung Galaxy Round. It also came with this cool case, which, you know, it does have, like, it's basically magnetic and it shows some stuff here on the screen when you close it. Once again, I'm not gonna turn on the phone because I don't want to spoil how it works and stuff, but this is basically one of the only Samsung phones that are fully curved, just like the LG G Flex. So basically this phone is also fully curved, but instead of being curved like this, the phone is curved like this, as you guys can see. So this phone is extremely rare, and I'm not even joking. I also got this phone from Global Bonyang for just 50 bucks. Once again, this thing is such a steal. If this thing was to be sold on eBay, it would cost like 1,000 bucks, and I'm not even joking. Like, this phone, it is little a prototype. Even though it used to be sold, only 10,000 units were sold, which is very small for the South Korean market and stuff. And yeah, this one was released in 2013, and I had to buy it from South Korea for just 50 bucks. It also came with this cool case and stuff. Yeah, this phone is just very rare. Like, if you try to search this phone now on Global Bonyang, you're not gonna get any results with this phone, because these phones are very rare on the market to buy. So not only about this phone very cheap, but it's also very rare. Once again, this phone works just fine. It's not a joke. I'm gonna show you guys the back of this phone so you guys can see that I'm not lying with this one. The model on the back, which, if I'm not wrong, it should say somewhere here SMG910S, which it says right there. That's basically Samsung Galaxy Round model, basically. That's what that is. You guys can search that on GSM Arena too. So overall, I got a very rare phone for a very cheap price, which is In my opinion, I think I was very lucky to buy this phone. The next very rare phone that I actually got, this time from Japan, from Bai, this phone, the NEC Medias W. It's also the last ever phone made by the NEC company in Japan. It's basically a phone with two displays. It closes like this, it opens like this. This one is also fully functional. However, once again, I don't want to spoil how it works and stuff, but this one is also ultra rare to buy, and it costed me just $100 to buy it, and then I had to pay the shipping, which was $50. Then I had to pay the import taxes, like another $20 or something like that at the postal office. Overall, this phone was worth the money. It is also very rare and also very cool. And guys, that's all the phones that I have in my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope 2026 will be a very good year for us. And I wonder if Channel Amber will ever be able to get the Samsung Galaxy Round. That's a very good question. I have no idea if he's ever gonna be able to do that, or if he's even gonna try to buy that phone. But yeah guys, I do own quite some rare phones, and very soon I'm also gonna get a North Korean phone and also a Samsung Galaxy Beam. Stay tuned to see those videos as well once those phones will arrive. That's what I had to say. I'm gonna see you guys next time with phone explorations, custom ramming, jailbreaking and so on, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.